Hey, this is Rondé Barber, former Virginia Cavalier, now class of 2023 Pro Football Hall of Famer. You're listening to the Jerry Ratcliffe Show.
All right, let's talk some UVA basketball recruiting now. We've been hitting this a lot this summer, Jerry. It's been keeping us very active because Tony Bennett and his staff have been very active. What's the latest on the recruiting beat?
Well, Chris, since the last time we talked, Virginia's offered two more players from the class of 2025, and they're both really talented guys. And I think they've got a really good chance of getting this kid from Manassas, Nate. I don't know if it's pronounced Ament or Ament, Ament. He went to Colgan High School and has transferred to Highland High School up in Northern Virginia. He's a 6'7" small forward. He's ranked number 22 in the nation in his class. That's a pretty high ranking number, and that's by 247. Number 27 in the nation by On3. 247 has him ranked as the number 3 small forward in the country. On7 has him as number 7, and they both have him rated as the number 1 prospect in the state of Virginia. And UVA Virginia has not recruited the state of Virginia very well in recent years. They haven't gotten too many guys out of the state. A lot of those guys have ended up at Duke or Maryland or somewhere else. But I think they've got a great shot at landing this kid. He has offers from Maryland, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Iowa, Illinois, Providence, ODU, VCU. I know he has visited Virginia unofficially, and he expressed a strong desire to have an official visit at Virginia. He also wants to have a visit in Indiana. He's a kid who really that when Jamie Shaw, I think of 247, I think he's from 247, asked him if he had dream offers, and he said, "Yeah, my dream." And this was before Virginia offered him. He said, "Yeah, my dream offers would be Virginia and Kentucky, and Kentucky has not offered. So Virginia could be in the driver's seat on that." I know he's had a very strong relationship with Jason Williford, Virginia's associate head coach, who has been all over this kid ever since the evaluation period started June 15th. Matt Hatfield, who we've had on the podcast before from VirginiaPreps.com, does a great job on recruiting in the state of Virginia on football and basketball. And Ament told Matt that he said, "I can shoot and I can guard 1 through 5," which is a pretty strong statement for a guy who's 6'7". So 1 through 5 high school, maybe maybe not on this level, but
I remember another guy who could shoot and guard 1 through 5, DeAndre Hunter. No
yeah,
pressure on the kid there, but that's a rare bird. But when you have them, boy, they make your team better.
absolutely. So I think there's a really good chance of Virginia landing this kid, and he hadn't given any timeline on anything yet, but because they're all finishing up summer ball, I guess, and looking toward their own seasons. Practices starting a little bit later. But another kid that they offered during that time period, Chris, is a Caden Lewis. We had written about him earlier about Virginia contacting him, but since then Virginia has offered him. They offered him July 27th, and he's a 6'2", 6'3" combo guard, left-hander from Sidwell Friends School in DC. He's a 4-star. again, another 2025 class. He's not rated as highly as Ament. He's top 100 nationally by all the services, 69 by Rivals, 77 by 247 Composite, and in the top 13 at his position, and one of the top 2 or 3 prospects in the state of Virginia, according to 247. He's been offered by Virginia, Penn State, St. John's, Nebraska, Providence, Oregon, and Georgetown. He's a playmaker with really quick hands. He's a good passer, good defender. He's one of the top scoring guards in the class of 2025. In the Nike Elite 100 camp, a 5-day camp, I believe he scored more than 120 points that week. And in one game, he plays for Team Durant in the EYBL Summer League. Back on June 20th, Chris, he scored or assisted on 43 of his team's 51 points. He went 12 of 22 from the floor in that game, including 27 points, had 7 assists and 6 rebounds. So 2 pretty decent prospects there to add to the growing list of offers in 2025. We have a complete list of those with each profile of players offered on our website. So if you can't keep up with, I think there's 9 or 10 guys they've offered from that class already. So you can go look up the profile on any of those players. We've profiled each one of them, and at the end of each story, there's a nice chart that gives you a look at everybody offered in 25 and 26, and so you can get a good look at what's out there. And
I counted it up, Jerry. It's actually 11 now for 2025.
Yeah.
1 for 2026, 7 for 2024, not including Christian Bliss, who's already committed.
Right.
One thing I noticed about this Lewis kid, this is not fair, man. From a genetic lottery standpoint, he's 6'3" with a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, how about that?
I had Crystal measure my wingspan one time because we were writing about somebody's wingspan. You're supposed to have the same wingspan as your height, roughly your height. So I do. I'm 6 feet tall. I got a 6-foot wingspan. If you're 6'3" with a 7-foot wingspan, you'll play good defense. If you can just shuffle your feet and you got those long arms out there, I mean, you don't have to steal everything. They can't get around you. So, I mean, you're talking about him being a top scorer. A guy like that can fit into Tony's system as a scorer, but you talked about he's a playmaker too, but he'll be able to play some defense if he comes to Virginia.
Yeah, no question. And I'm sure that's one of the things that attracted Virginia to him is his ability to play both ends of the floor, particularly. He might be able to guard a lot of positions with a wingspan like that, because not many guys can boast that kind of a metric for sure.
Yeah, move your feet, and you got the enveloping nature of your arms to help you out as far as that goes. So good updates there on the basketball recruiting trail. And again, like Jerry said, go to the website, click on any of those stories, and not only can you read about the individual that's being written about from the headline, but you can also then see that nice graphic that Scott Ratcliffe's put together that has all of the recruiting kind of encapsulated there too. So that's always a big help. Well, Jerry,
one thing I might mention too is Scott, who has done stories on a couple of the new Virginia basketball players already for both our sites. Interviewed Rhodey yesterday and one of the other players. Trying to think who it was. I'd have to have a list in front of me, and I can't think of it right now. But those will be coming up sometime this week. As he also has a profile on Tony Muskett that he's working on, and I'm working on some defensive stuff, and talked to the two defensive backs that have transferred in. So we're going to be having a ton of football and basketball stories on the site here in the coming days.
Yeah, with football practice starting this week, that will really jumpstart things for us. We're only a month and a day away from the opener on September 2nd down in
Coming fast.
Nashville. Yeah, it's coming. It's right. We finally made it through the quiet part of the sports calendar with since the World Series ended, the College World Series ended. We had a few weeks where we had to make do with what we had, and now we're back where the news comes at us fast and furiously as far as that goes. So